Hey guys, this is Edward and I am broadcasting live on justin.tv/EdwardStarcraft, and we are watching another game here in the GameClucks Seattle StarCraft 2 tournament. This is going to be a best out of 3 in the quarterfinals of the StarCraft tournament over here on the map Xel'Naga Caverns. Spawning at the bottom left hand position, we have a protoss player. That's an extremely helpful guy on Team Liquid. We've seen a lot of his games so far. He is CecilSunkure. At the top right hand side, we have a Terran player who's definitely an incredible Terran, having advanced to this round. He is also known as Sterling. Now, should be an exciting game. This is the quarterfinals. We've watched the other quarterfinals already. That was between Picnic and Kawaii Rice. So basically, whoever wins this best out of 3 is going to go on to face Kawaii Rice. Will be a very nice privilege for either one of these players, and both these players are very strong. And I love Terran versus Protoss. Terran versus Protoss has been really, I think, impacted by some of the nerfs and the buffs, or I guess they're just all nerfs, that Blizzard has hit in this latest patch that just hit on Tuesday. For example, Stim will take 30 seconds longer to research, and also at the same time, I believe that the High Templar's amulet upgrade has been removed. So usually Terran has a very strong early game versus Protoss, and then Protoss has a stronger late game. In this game, after this patch, I think it's going to even out the odds slightly, and we're going to have a little more of a balance, a little more of a balanced matchup in Protoss versus Terran. But this should be exciting. And let's see what both players are doing. Now, Cecil, he's going to be opening up normally today. And same thing with Sterling. Sterling has one Marine around, and it looks like he's just scouting around for any proxies, any sort of cheese from his opponent. He's very diligent about the scouting today, while his opponent Cecil has scouted his base, seen nothing too out of the ordinary, just parking one of his units over at the Xel'Naga Tower. Always a good place to park your units. Now, Cecil, he has really interesting building positioning in this game. In Protoss versus Terran, usually Protoss players will not wall off because of the threat of ranged units, ranged siege units, especially like the siege tank, and even Marines, Marauders just walking up the ramp. But Cecil, I think his building placement here is really to prevent any sort of Hellions, any sort of harassment at the back areas of his base to really contain this. And he's going to go for a 2-gate robo build and actually get a very fast robotics facility, only building 1 gateway before he builds his robotics facility. This is a very standard and very safe build against a Terran player. I really like it. I use this all the time on ladder. I basically exclusively 2-gate robo against Terran opponents, and it's very powerful and very flexible at the same time. Cecil will be able to get Immortals out, which just own Marauders, and even Marines in small numbers. He'll be able to get a good number of gateway units, and has the option to expand. So I really like this opening here from CecilSunkure. At the other side, looks like Sterling opening up with a 3 racks expand. You build your first barracks first, and then you build your second 2 right after you place the expansion. So he is going to be in a nice economic position very soon. But then again, at the same time, Terran players actually can take up expansions earlier than Protoss players. It's not going to be too bad for a Protoss player if you are behind in expansions to a Terran player. It's not that big of a deal. So now Cecil getting an early observer, and he has his units stationed all over the map. It's kind of interesting. His Zealot here at the Watchtower, his Sentry over here near his natural choke point, and the Stalker at the back choke point. I really like this nice map vision, map control over here, preventing any enemy units from surprising him in this matchup. At the same time, it's 3 racks from Sterling. 3 racks expand. I'm not really sure how to call it, but basically this expansion with 3 barracks, and it looks like he's teching up to either tanks or a factory. Cecil is going to spot this, but it's a very normal thing for Terran players to do, and I really think it is a very safe build as well. The main problem though is that you do have a lot of biological units, and biological units are difficult to work with against protoss players later on in the game, but this is still early game, so bio units will be very effective, and it looks like Sterling moving in for Stim timing push. However, Stim is going to actually take a while to finish, so he might have to park his units right outside his opponent's base for a while to actually make it work out. That's the problem with this nerf, but no, it looks like his army just going to take the Xel'Naga towers, get himself vision, and now Cecil gonna contest vision, but this Marine does too much damage to that probe for the probe to take over the Xel'Naga tower. So earlier Cecil had very nice map vision, but now he does not have as much map vision as before, so it looks like he's going to go out and contest this map vision for himself, taking out this Marine, and now taking this Xel'Naga tower. You know, and it's kind of funny, both players are just pressuring each other without actually doing any sort of actual attacking. I mean, not many units are lost, they're just contesting this map vision, and now Sterling floating his factory and moving over to his opponent's base to do some scouting and building medevacs out of his starport. So he's definitely going to be committing to this tech bath today, just the bio ball. And you know, having played Terran, I have to say, switching tech as a Terran player is extremely difficult. Now Cecil, he has a lot of sentries. This is like his favorite unit. I remember last month when he played against Kawaii Rice, he just had like 20 sentries versus Kawaii Rice's marauders. It was kind of insane. But yeah, here's Sterling not getting too much scouting information with his factory, and going to lose this factory if he's not careful, and that's not going to work out very well for him. And if his starport gets killed, you know, I'm not sure how it would get killed, but if it does get killed, then that's going to be a big loss for Sterling. Now, yeah, Sterling actually, if he wants to get an armory as well, he needs to build an army very quickly. But interestingly enough, Sterling has a Ghost Academy. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing with his Ghost Academy just yet. I don't see any ghosts on the field. I doubt he's going to be using nukes today. That would be pretty fun if he did, but I think he's mostly using it for EMP, which is going to be so useful against this many sentries. I mean, look at all of these sentries. Force fields are going to be very dangerous, but then again, if you can't land any force fields because there are so many EMPs, you're going to be a dead Protoss player. Now Cecil poking around, looking to see if there is a third expansion from his opponent. Sterling has not expanded just yet, and Sterling landing his factory over here, using the last legs of the factory to just block a potential expansion from his opponent. Cecil, I really like this. He's using double forges to upgrade his units, you know, and then his gateway army. He really likes his gateways. His gateway army will be incredibly powerful, even without any high value unit support. Of course, it looks like Cecil is actually indeed getting a robotics bay, so he will be able to get Colossus out very soon, but he is getting Blink for his stalkers, and also taking this gold expansion. Quite a ballsy move on Cecil's part, but really I think it's going to be very strong. At the same time, the other rocks at the gold have been destroyed. I'd like to see Sterling take the gold expansion over here. That would be very, very beneficial to him, because you can planetary fortress it up, and then, you know, mass amounts of gateway units. Not quite the most effective against planetary fortresses, but I'm not exactly sure what he's up to right now. And whoa there, look at how many barracks Sterling has. He is getting supply blocked for a second. Not the best play here. Not the best to get supply blocked, but you see here, Sterling, he has to rebuild his factory so he can get an armory for upgrades. Not what he wanted to do, and he did lose a good number of units. So now, this Ghost moving up ahead, trying to EMP, but, ooh, this one Ghost, nice blink here from those stalkers, but unable to take out the Ghost. The Ghosts are moving on. Nice EMPs over there, but remember, oh, Ghost Energy, that nerf. Oh, I never thought it would be so useful over here, but Ghost EMPs don't take out all of the energy of enemy units. They only take out 100 energy, and now the sentries free to regenerate their energy, and still with enough energy to regenerate their force field. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so now looks like Sterling going to be moving in. Oh, he does not want to bunch up his units. His opponent not going to use the sentries to really kill off these units. Sterling has used a stim. His medevacs are full on energies though, so it's not going to be a huge issue. And now Sterling going to take a planetary fortress for his third at the gold base. Let's take a look at the economic difference between these two players. Terran is behind by about 7 harvesters, but then again, mules. And in this case, both players are about even on income. And now Sterling coming into Cecil's base, taking down 2 of his gateways, forcing a cancel on 2 of those gateways. And now Cecil, what is he going to do? Does he even have charge on those zealots? No, he does not. He has a lot of zealots too, so he really needs charge. And you know, those marauders, mass marauders, oh, they just don't do enough damage against zealots. And you know, if you can get charged, you can get some nice force fields. Now, Sterling going to be moving in, but he's just picking off what he can before those stalkers get, before those. Ooh, nice EMPs yet again. Not enough energy for too many force fields, but this many force fields I think is enough. Look at CecilSunkure with his force fields. He is clear out of energy on his sentries, but all of his sentries are going down, and his EMPs taking down most of the. And ooh, one of these ghosts getting killed. That's not the best, but wow, nice play there on Sterling's part. Kawaii Rice being like, that's retarded. Yeah, Kawaii Rice can obs this game. He's just that special. Now Sterling coming in yet again with his mass marauders. You know, Kawaii Rice could take some protoss versus Terran versus protoss tips from Sterling. He really hates protoss, and you know, here Sterling doing a very nice job. So coming in yet again, not enough energy for force fields, but Sterling running away. I thought he would one-shot this Colossus. I mean, that would have been a huge hit, but it looks like he didn't. He wants to save his army to fight another day, and that is an incredibly good idea as well, I have to say. Now, looks like Sterling going to be taking a 4th base, and he is definitely in the lead right now. Army value, you can see Sterling in the lead, and his worker count is about equal, but taking a 4th base when Cecil is running out of his main base, that's huge. And then also, just that his army being bigger, it will just steamroll. You know, his army in every confrontation will whittle down his opponent's army more than his opponent will whittle down his. It looks like another confrontation coming in, not the right. Okay, that's the right button I wanted to press, but it looks like no confrontation actually. Now, extended thermal lances is nearly done for Cecil, and this could be actually kind of dangerous for his opponent Sterling. Sterling did get another factory, so he can build a 2nd starport, but he needs to get a lot of Vikings soon. The Colossus count is skyrocketing, but I think it's really good for him that Cecil, he killed off a lot of those sentries already, because, you know, if he didn't kill off those sentries earlier, that he would already be dead. But now here is the fight. I'm pressing the right button now, and now nice EMPs. Those were the money EMPs. Zealots all melting. They still do not have charge, but there are still a few force fields over here, and just look at those colossi. Wow, I thought Cecil would be in the bad position in that fight, but just those colossi, they do so much damage to these ground units. And now Cecil moving in. Ooh, if Sterling can take some of these units as they're retreating. No, he cannot, but really, it is such a close one. And shut up, Kawaii Rice. Stop talking when we are doing this commentary. There's no obs allowed, and we allowed you, and now you just gotta be quiet. So, Cecil, Sterling, on this many bases, and you know, really Cecil's doing a very nice job at defense. His colossi just tearing through everything. Sterling coming in yet again. Those colossi, look at how orange they turn those marauders. Now those Vikings trying to take out those colossi, but not the best micro on Sterling's part. And now the tide has turned. This is the late game, and guess who owns in the late game? Terran. And really, what is Sterling going to do? Just keep on pumping out his Bioball. There's nothing that much else that he can do. Now this Colossi, these Stalkers moving in, but look at how much damage they do. And Cecil in the, in the bad position. Oh, and that just killed so many harvesters. But Cecil in that bad position and now taking again the lead just by surviving towards the late game. I really have to say, I thought Sterling did a very nice job in the early game, and then there is a good game. Congratulations to Cecil for taking this game. Wow, oh what a game.